I've come to realise that I've been gatekeeping my focaccia recipe. Not deliberately, but I figure it's time to remedy that. So here is the recipe for my sandwich focaccia, and to mark the occasion, I'm doing an extra special truffle crisp number. This one's very much inspired by Lace Bakes, who is running a Will It Focaccia series, which I am all over. I'm going to put the full recipe in the description, so I'll use this time to talk through a few of my tips and tricks to getting a really fluffy focaccia in under 3 hours. On to tip number 1. Even if you have a stand mixer, and get you if you do it by hand, you're much less likely to end up with clumps of flour. I also tend to make a well in the middle of the bowl and incorporate the flour gradually. This is normally something you see in pasta recipes, but it works the same way here in minimising the risk of big clumps. Tip number 2, quick time saver. Most recipes at this point want you to transfer the dough to a clean oiled bowl. Now, I'm lazy and I hate washing up, but if you use a silicone spatula, just scrape down the sides, shift the dough to one side of the bowl, and pour a little oil underneath. Number 3, your dough is going to prove a lot quicker if it's somewhere warm. Now, in winter, I used to swear by the boiler cupboard. In summer, very occasionally, the British weather means you can prove outside, but just don't let it get too hot. Fat chance, I know. On to number 4, and this one might be obvious. Oil repels water, so whenever you're handling it, make sure you have a little bit of oil in your hands because it's a very sticky dough. And you don't need to be using extra virgin for this, just use some standard olive oil, save the nicer stuff for the top. Now, unless you're lucky enough to have state-of-the-art non-stick pans, at this point you're going to want to use some baking paper, but you will need to use some oil on that as well. Otherwise the dough will stick, especially if you're trying to add extra folds at this point. I mean, you could equally add these final folds while it's still in the bowl and then transfer to the tray. I do sometimes get into the shower and find dough crusted onto my elbows, so maybe there is something there. On to tip number 5. Now, at this point it looks like I'm spanking the bread, which I guess I kind of am, but it's also a great way to spread the oil over the bread without needing to use too much so that when you add those dimples, it doesn't all stick to your fingers. And finally, tip number 6. Now, I don't always add a topping, but when I do, I like to dimple first, then add my topping, then dimple again. You can do it either way. I just find it helps to press the filling a little bit deeper into the dough so that it's less likely to catch on the top. And today, as promised, I've gone with the notoriously popular Torres Black Truffle Crisp, plenty of Maldon sea salt, and a good glug of extra virgin olive oil. Oh, and a final bonus tip. I was rushing a bit here, so I cut the bread while it was still hot. If you wait 20 minutes for it to cool, you'll get a really clean cross section. This one looks a little bit scraggy, but I guarantee you, those truffle crisps absolutely banged.